So, Fort Mac is groundbreaking in many ways. So, when we were selected as your master developer, um, we've always been pretty good at putting together teams of people, but this time, given the opportunity, we started at a very high level. And it may sound funny, but we started with Prince Charles. You may ask why. Well, he has a foundation that globally is considered the gold standard in how you plan and do the architecture for communities, especially in challenged areas. And I had worked with him before with Kasim Reed, former mayor, when we were doing the west side of Atlanta. So when this opportunity came up, I reached out to them and asked them if they would consider being the master planner and architect. After some due diligence, they said yes. And because it's their first North American project, they're global, but because it's their first North American project, they, Prince Charles took a personal interest in it to the point that he's actually reviewing the plans, which isn't always a good thing, but we're doing it. And he asked us to hire an American firm, Merrill, Pastor and Colgan, of which Scott Merrill is the main principal. He's here today and he's going to do a presentation to you. And so with those two players on board, then we built out a team that at the international, national, and local level is absolutely best in class of each professional discipline. Our community, the whole concept is based on a philosophy of community building that's based on a very unique ecosystem. And I'd like to introduce my partner, Ashish Bagle, to you now and ask him to give you a brief overview of that ecosystem.
Hey everyone, I'm Ashish Bagle, I'm partner of Stevens. I work very much in the weeds on the project. So when you create a new model, when you have a catalytic development that you're trying to do, there's a lot of aspects of the project that that can confuse people, that seem ambitious, but also sort of swirling around. We talk about education, we talk about community building, community development. And so what we had to do was create a construct, create a concept that could be visualized, that could clearly explain everything we're trying to accomplish on the project. And so I just wanted to take you through what that construct looks like. Everything we do at Fort Mac is going to be based on the foundation of sustainability and inclusivity. Sustainability, the environmental stewardship, making sure that we're taking care of the planet while we develop our project, 145 acres, 4 million square feet, that has a lot of impact. Inclusivity, the reason I got into real estate development is because I wanted to be a part of bringing together as many different types of people as we could. And that includes income levels, races, all different perspectives. And so inclusivity, sustainability, everything we do rests on that foundation. Above that foundation, we have 4 pillars. And these pillars are what we've identified as enriching people's lives, creating a community rather than just a development. A lot of developers go in, buy land, build stuff, lease and sell it. What we're trying to do here is a little bit bigger than that. It's creating a community, it's bringing in an outside community and providing resources to that community to thrive. And so the 4 areas that we've identified that we want to focus on when it comes to the types of tenants that we bring in, the types of programming that we do, and really everything that we're offering to the community fits into one or hopefully multiple of these categories. Health and wellness, education and training, food and agriculture, and arts and culture. To delve a little bit deeper into the sustainability and inclusivity, when we talk about sustainability, it's energy conservation, water conservation, wellness and air quality. We're talking about creating buildings in an environment that can endure over generations. Inclusivity, a huge part of this component is what we're doing on the affordability side of things, both on the housing side as well as the retail offerings. And when you look at the 4 pillars, just to talk a little bit about each one. Health and wellness, some of the things that we want to include in the project, I think we've mentioned the Fort Mac Mile, which is a trail system that goes through the entire project. Walkability and encouraging outdoor activity is a huge part of what we're doing here. It's that mobility component. Fitness facilities, medical services, mental health services, all of these fit into health and wellness. They provide a resource to the community. Education and training, everything from the Jobs and Career Center that the LRA has pretty much gotten funded, which will be one of the first projects out of the ground, a workforce development center operated by Atlanta Technical College, hopefully. We have a school planned on site, which Scott will show you on the western side of the project. And then we're going to have a lot of programming in place when it relates to financial literacy, early childhood education, and so forth. Food and agriculture with real estate development projects, generally this means restaurants and grocers. But we wanted to go a step beyond that. We wanted to include production on site. So we're talking to a group that will be doing an aquaponics farm and an organic conventional farm. So creating food on site, healthy food for all the people within the project, restaurants and so forth, as well as people from outside the community. Setting up a community-supported agriculture program where that healthy food can actually be delivered to people's households. In addition to that, aggregation of food, bringing food to the site, the fact that where we're located is a logistical point within the city of Atlanta is just conducive of people being able to access food by MARTA, by a vehicle, and so forth. Arts and culture, this would be sort of the bedrock of the community. There's certain elements that are common threads among people. You know, there's things that bring all different types of people together, and we feel like arts and culture is the linchpin of it. I think Tyree and Artlanta and his group are going to be significant leaders in this initiative, as well as other groups in the city that really promote the arts renaissance that's really happening in Atlanta. And we feel like we can create a hub for arts and culture and be able to provide resource to those artists so that once we do bring arts and culture to the site, we aren't at jeopardy of losing those artists to other cities. We want to be able to promote and be able to provide resources for them.